and say things like, oh, hi, let's get started. Oh, it's the things and the stuff when, nope, that's the wrong scene. Jake,
How embarrassing.
I am just sometimes I want to say goofus instead of doofus. I think either applies. I think it works either way. Anyways, I am Doofus from JnJtabletop. I am joined by two of my favorite people on planet Earth. If we were on a different planet, perhaps that list would expand. But I'm here with Izzy and Evan, and we're doing ancient relics and talky religions because we want to talk about religion and politics and all that stuff. Oh man. So yes, it has been a while, so you have to excuse all of the ridiculousness that is probably going to come out of my mouth because I'm excited to see my friends whom I have not seen as much as I'd like to lately. We see Nia in chat, we see Skelly is here. Skelly, normally you don't use two L's when you spell hello, but I'll give you a pass. It's been a while. And that's what I have to say about that. So, if you're watching this live or on YouTube, I want to know, and both Izzy and Evan, is this a Christmas shirt?
I would say it's Christmas adjacent, certainly.
Okay.
I think that's mostly due to the red and white coloring.
Yeah, and it almost could be like snow, right? These look like they could be flakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think most people tend to wear like Argyle style stuff around Christmas anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not a Christmas shirt though, what is it?
Red t-shirt.
It's clothes. Obviously.
Christmas in July shirt. I agree. And you could also, I mean, maybe we won't get into it now, but is Die Hard a Christmas movie? It was released in July, I'm pretty sure, so that's a good thing. Anyways, Zach, yeah, it's Christmas-ish, old man shirt. Yeah, it's probably the most accurate. I think Nia wins on that. But yeah, so hello. Evan, how you doing? You settled in?
Oh man, I'm doing so good. I'm having a rough old time. I did a very brief stream the other day. Some of the people that are in here were there for it. I didn't make any kind of grand announcement or anything about it. I just hopped on and did the thing, and it was very nice. But yeah, I didn't realize how long it's been since I've done a stream, and I was completely out of it. Because of everything going on. I think my brain is just so scattered. It was interesting. Just like I couldn't remember how to play a game and talk at the same time, and like everything was just a disaster.
I couldn't remember that my name isn't Doofus. I get it.
Yeah, that's true.
I totally get it.
But yeah, no, honestly, things are starting to settle down.
Yeah.
We're getting to a point where it's starting to feel more like home. Which is the goal, and that's just gonna keep getting better as we go. I could probably have the door open and have, I don't actually know if the puppies are running around right now, but they may come in and interrupt. So
I've heard there's no place like home.
Yeah.
Right, Izzy, have you heard that?
It's definitely something that I've heard of.
Yeah.
That gnome is where the heart is.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my lovely
Namaste.
My lovely D&D group bought me, I believe it was half a dozen or more garden gnomes. Just I had only just been moved in for I think 2 or 3 days, and the only furniture in the house was bar stools that I went and purchased at a Goodwill because there was nowhere to sit in the house. And they were the cheapest thing I could find. And the next thing that arrived in my house was like 7 garden gnomes in packages from my D&D group. So
I don't even remember where this idea fully came from. That's a lie. I completely remember where it came from. But we all thought we were really funny when we were like, let's all send them gnomes. This will be great.
I mean, look, I appreciate the gnomes. We'll definitely, like, they'll have a home. In the garden. We just got to figure out exactly where.
It's the gnome home.
Yeah, exactly. Where the gnomes will call home. But yeah, no, I appreciate, the ask, and things are great, and everyone's been very patient, and It's all good.
Well, we love you. We're happy things are settling down. So, Izzy, how are you?
Good.
Well said.
Sick.
All right. Oh man. Well, we're gonna get into this here. This is going to contain spoilers. I'm gonna say up through episode 55, but that's not entirely accurate because we released episode 55.5. Evan, I don't know if you had a chance to watch that or listen to that through all of the craziness of yours.
Of it.
Okay.
I did not get to hear the whole thing, and I'm really sad that I haven't.
It's all good. So just a quick overview of what that is our group is basically a pseudo downtime of sorts. We have like a 3-week journey, more or less. And so Josh was kind of like, what does this look like? How does, all this kind of stuff. And there was an alert in the, it blended in really. I'm pro streamer. So we were just talking about like what kinds of things everybody doing. Mac and Echo were like going over some dagger moves, and so Vale was curious about how Melly got her magic, so we just RP'd that because we really like RP here in this on this show. So we did that. So that's up through that. That is episode 55 and a half. That's where the spoilers are. And I don't know. I mean, do either one of you want to give like a quick review? I normally write that down. I didn't. Like recent
a review
events.
Of
just like a
like
couple
what
of
we did
recent,
in the game?
Especially if like, because I know we each prepared some questions, especially if there's like something relevant to what's gonna happen.
I could definitely give a review. It might be very overarching.
I'm here for it. You got it.
Okay, so reaching pretty far back, things went crazy. Wow, that like describes a lot of things that have happened in the past.
You'll have to be more specific.
Yeah, I would have to be more specific. Where do I want to start from? You know what? Let's just pick up from when we moved. Okay, so we were at the temple looking for Master Dinoa, and we kind of got sent on like a little like treasure hunt to try and find an urn for Oscar.
Yep.
We killed the guys. There was some stuff going on with Vale and his deity. And now we're all kind of like, oh no, what's going on with that? And there's someone in the temple that Echo and Vale kind of were talking to about that. So we have some possibilities. We think who it might be. We have some leads on where Master Dinoa might be, or we're heading in that direction for where we think there might be another clue. Let's see, what else has happened? We've seen Mac use his ability with his dagger. And it's interesting because when everyone else lost their stuff, he didn't.
When we went into Oscar's hut, yeah. It was like we walked in and all the magic was like, no, and he's totally fine.
I'm trying to think of other high-level stuff. I think that's my overview. So if you guys want to add anything.
I think you did pretty good there. You want to add anything, Evan?
I don't have anything to add at the moment. I'm sure that, as we go, we'll probably cover things, in more specificity.
I agree. So since we each prepared questions, I thought it would be fun if we rolled initiative. I think we should all get ready to put it in chat. I think I know what's going to happen, but I'm going to, is everybody ready?
Nope. Hold on.
No, Izzy's not ready. Hold on. Holding pattern.
When am I ever ready? Okay, I'm ready.
You were here before Evan was. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Boop. All right. I had a feeling it was gonna be me the way you were talking. So the initiative order: I'll ask a question, Evan asks a question, Izzy asks a question, and we'll start again. All right. So I'm gonna start off kind of. I guess this could be something for both of you. Surely no one cheated. Surely. So I kind of am personally really looking forward to the change of pace, to have a 3-week time where it's just like, hey, guess what? The world isn't ending every second of every day for you, whether it's your personal world or perhaps the literal world of Wildmount. And I wanted to ask you about that, and just kind of like, is there anything in particular that you feel like that will do for your characters? So like, I feel like for Vale, he doesn't really like process things when they're happening. They kind of like just build up. Like a computer, you got to hit the restart to make sure it works again. And so I think he's kind of in that process. Like, you had a little bit with the family meeting, but I think things are really kind of hitting him again, and kind of centering him a bit. So I'm looking forward to being in that frame of mind with Vale. So I'll open up to either one of you as a player and for your character.
All right, I guess I will start if that's okay. So I think for Echo, Echo's had to go through a lot of changes lately, and I think a big part of that is because of how quickly everything's been happening. And I think that a little bit because of how quickly things have been happening and how many things he's had to, I guess, secede from, like, about himself, like ways that he's had to sort of change his outlook and his principles. I think he's going to have more time to really think about that and the effect of that. I think in good ways and bad ways. You know, I think he's going to find things like decisions that he's unhappy with, and other ones that he's going to realize, like, yeah, no, I think, like, at the end of the day, I am going to have to be more ready to use lethal force on people, because things are worse than I ever thought they were. So I think it's that, in a big way. And just like you just said about Vale, more quiet time means more time to think about things. So, you know, we'll have to see.
And what about for you as Evan? Is that something you're kind of enjoying, that change of pace, or is it like a...
Personally, yeah. I think that it'll be... I'm more interested, I think, for things to not be so grim for a little bit for the characters.
Yeah.
And that'll allow us, I think, to have more of these interpersonal moments that are more lighthearted. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that having those interpersonal connections, those character moments that are just like, oh, it turns out that they both have this weird hobby, like just like little things. I'm kind of excited to see stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and unless your name is Josh, if you have a question in chat that you'd like to mention, go ahead and throw that in chat. And if it makes sense for what we're talking about, we'll do it. So how about you, Izzy? Are you liking the change of pace? How would you and Melly feel about that?
So I definitely think Melly is looking forward to kind of having the group bond when it doesn't feel like the floor is falling from underneath them. I feel like
that's fair.
I think like the last time that they've had like all right, we're just like traveling and hanging out and having a good time together was back when they were like going to Melasmere.
Yeah.
So
wow, yeah.
She is really excited to just like enjoy the time with her friends. She is not gonna process anything during this. She's just gonna be like, let's hang out, have a good time, like just want to relax, enjoy the scenery. And then as myself, I definitely have to agree with what Evan said. I like separating myself from Melly. It's like seeing these characters that I love just like go through like peaks of high stress over and over and over again. I feel like the rubber band can only be stretched so many times before it starts to snap, and I don't want to see anyone snap.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think a little decompression will be good for all of them.
Josh asks in chat, even though I just said if your name is Josh, it doesn't count, but did you overestimate or underestimate the last encounter with the snakes? Personally, I think I just estimated it. I didn't think it was going to be a deadly encounter or anything like that, but I also kind of just was like, I don't really know what's going on with this. What about you guys?
Definitely wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was pretty funny that, like, you know, you see a snake, you ask it what's going on, and it lies to you. And there's something very funny about that to me. Just got lied to by a snake, and they brought you home so we could eat you, and that's very funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as like the combat part of it, I feel the same way. I think we like felt it out and did what we needed to do, and I think it was a lot of fun. You know, we kind of went wild with it. I think it might have been an overreaction on the party's part, how hard we went against them. But, you know, they tried to kill us. So, you know, what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. How about you, Izzy? What do you think about the snake fight?
It was nice to get to stretch those muscles again, because I feel like it's been so long. But obviously it was just like, it was a bunch of snakes. What'd you really expect?
Yeah. I feel like the mechanics in 5e, there's like, you have like really low level snakes and then like a decent level snake, and then it's kind of like, there's not a lot. Like, I feel like if Josh wanted to either make his own or just, he'd have to throw a ton of them at us. Who knows? But yeah. All right, Evan, you're up next. My turn is done.
Okay. So this is more, well, it's going to shift gears a little bit. And I think we may have talked about this already, but I don't know that we talked about it in a public forum. So my question is, where is Vale's mind currently regarding his brother and his sister?
That's a great question. What does Vale think about? Well, Carrick is easy for me. Vale's relationship with Carrick is very, it's very complicated. I feel like in many ways they probably were like really close growing up, but there's always been a disconnect that Vale wishes he could push through, but every time he feels like he does, they're just different people. Like it's one of those things, like their family, like Vale would jump in front of an arrow for him, all that kind of stuff. I think I could say the Carrick would easily do the same thing. I think they love each other, but there's just something there that doesn't click. And Vale is I don't he doesn't want to find out about what happened to Carrick, even though he does want to find out. Like, he does want to find out, but he's like hesitant to find out because he feels like no matter what he finds out, it's going to be bad, and Vale's going to blame himself because, well, I mean, he kind of should in this one, but I don't know. He just feels like it's just par for the course with them, and even if he ever did explain himself, he doesn't feel like Carrick would understand. Although I do think Carrick is aware that the group is dealing with something big. We just never told him. I think that is something that was communicated to him, so I don't fully understand what's going to happen. But with his sister, oh boy. Vale puts the weight, like the whole weight of the world on his shoulders, and he knows that she went to Shady Creek Run to do Shady Creek Run things because of him. So in some ways, he's proud of her for finding her own path and doing what she thinks is best, despite it being something that the people of Uthadurn really look down on. They just think Shady Creek Run is just awful, and kind of really rightfully so. But he also feels really guilty in the fact that, you know, she's choosing a life that he's picked up, and I don't know, he wants to find out what happened so much, really. Like he just wants to talk to her, just to be like, check in with her. Like, what's going on with you? Like, are you okay? Like, do you know what you're doing? You know what you got yourself in? Like, he just wants to be that big brother and kind of figure that out. I think, yeah, his head is just a mishmash of emotion with that. As far like part of him wants to just go there, throw her over his shoulder, and just be like, "We're going home. You're gonna deal with it." Like, but like, there's another part of him that is really proud of her. So I don't know exactly what would happen if he were to see her again. I think he would just probably both would come out in some way. I don't know. That's a good question.
I actually have a similar question for Melly regarding her sister. Like, how's Melly feeling about home, about her family?
I'm gonna say she is not really thinking about them. Not because, like, she doesn't care, but I think it's because if she thinks about it too much, she's gonna get too worried, and she doesn't know, like, she knows that Freeman knows their names, but she's also confident in, like, her family's ability to look out for each other and take care of each other. So she's pretty much being like, I have to trust my family that they will be okay. Because if I don't focus on what's in front of me, she'll just fall apart.
That's interesting.
It makes sense, and I think that's the position our characters have been in for a while. You know, we would love to think about and deal with these things, but we just can't right now, which is how we end up having the family meeting on the rooftop of the monastery. Because it's like, we have to just take a minute.
It's too much. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, no, that all tracks.
Well, yeah, I had felt it was a bit like because we had the scroll of sending and she didn't use it. And I feel like Josh's intent was like, all right, let's give you a chance to be able to know for sure that your family's not in danger, you know? And then instead she just gave it to Echo to talk to Master Dinoa, which was good. It was just one of those things where Vale was like, what's going on? Like, don't you want to check in? Which is kind of hypocritical, I guess, now. Because he's like, no, we don't gotta check in. We're fine. Situation normal. How are you?
Yeah. Yep, that, I feel like it's like you can either like plug the hole in the boat, or you can row as fast as you can to the shore. So, I mean, if you're not taking on that much water, it might make sense to just row as fast as you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's you have to do what feels right to you in the moment. I think that, you know, you can't judge the characters' decisions and how they process things, and I think that all tracks.
I agree.
But I believe that brings us to Izzy for her question.
Yes. Okay, hold on. I wrote them down. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, so don't forget them. Okay. So, this one is for Evan. So, everything that we've learned about where, like, Master Dinoa is and how he's doing, does Echo believe everything and trust everything he's been told? Or is he still more concerned than comforted with everything?
I think, and it's probably, okay, so the answer to that is, I think he's more comforted than concerned, but that may not be the correct response. And the reason that he's feeling more comforted than concerned, I think, is because he's needed some comfort. Like, he's desperately needed answers to questions, and he heard answers from a familiar voice. And all of this information came from this person that he has trusted more than anybody, like pretty much anybody in his entire life. So yeah, no, he's taking it as gospel. You know, this is where you need to go. don't worry, I'm fine. Everything's going to be fine. The order is deeper than you think, but it's not dangerous. Don't worry about it. He's taking all of that as like, all right, I was really worried about those things, but since you said it's fine, then it's fine. So, yeah, he's taking it straight.
Okay. Well, that kind of leads me into something I was going to ask. So I'll just do that. So yeah, Echo was told by Master Dynamo that the order has not in fact been compromised and that he can trust the people in it. So I want to know if you're waiting for me or Vale to say I told you so, or if you have other plans for that.
What, that Vale is gonna tell him like, I told you everything was fine?
Like I'm saying, like, are you waiting for a moment like that to happen, or does Echo have plans for that? Because Vale, it's actually kind of like a twofold thing, because I feel like with the amount of time in game that has happened, Vale, it would become noticeable to Echo that Vale's trying to give him space. Because he's not one to do something like that. I said it that way to be funny, and it really landed well. But so I just wanted to know, really, what are your thoughts on that? Is he still processing it? Is he like, Echo seems to be he's very internal.
Yeah, I would say he tends to be internal. But I mean, as far as that goes, like if Vale was to say to him like, I told you everything was fine, Echo's answer to that would be,
yeah,
there's no way we could have known that until we heard it direct from the source. Like, he'll stick to his guns about like you can say that you were right the whole time. That's fine. I couldn't accept that was correct until I heard it directly from the source.
Yeah.
So
Vale just kept saying like, I don't think there's enough evidence to say definitively one way or the other. That was more me leaning into the I told you so than Vale, whatever.
Yeah, but the implications of the other side of that would have posed too great a risk to just assume the better outcome to him, and
sure,
put that on Echo's personality or just the way that they treat information as a very important, as like a holy thing. But yeah, he's gonna stick to his guns. So
sure.
if that ends up happening, it's gonna just be like two brick walls talking to each other.
No,
but I was right though. He's like, yeah, but how are we supposed to know? It's like, oh, well, it turns out that you don't have to worry so much. Yeah, but I couldn't have possibly known that. So it's just like that for like a half hour.
A logic loop, yeah. Yeah. It wouldn't. Vale isn't. He wouldn't even bring it up. So I was just curious if it's something that you had thought of, if some kind of a scene like that in your head or anything.
No, I got to be honest. Not something I had considered.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool.
Was that your question for this round? Does that
That
bring you
was
to me? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a little more. This is gonna be a quick one. And I think we might, again, I believe we went over this in our like post-game talk. I don't think we ever actually did this publicly. What are Vale and Melly's genuine thoughts about Jasper a la vodka?
You want to go first, Izzy?
Melly loves him. She wants to watch him from behind a bush, just watch his daily life, like a little TV show, because he was just so charismatic, but she doesn't want to be right next to him because he's a little icky.
I will say to anyone watching this, if you haven't seen episode 55.5, I would encourage you to watch that because that actually comes up. That actually comes up. No, I think Vale's thoughts on Jasper. He came on so strong, so fast that he was very much taken back at first, for sure. But seeing how much he cares about Echo, and that kind of stuff in an odd way. He actually really trusts him. He thinks like that first layer is complete nonsense, and maybe that is him, but like he's just like whatever. I'll just tolerate that because I think underneath is pretty cool. Which is why at the end when we were leaving, he was like, "It's like, hey, why don't you just, if you get the chance, check in on Oscar." Just he actually trusts him, so.
Yeah, no, that tracks. I actually just watched the first Pirates of the Caribbean film the other night, and there was a line in there that immediately made me think of Jasper, and it was Captain Jack Sparrow. He said, a dishonest man you can always trust to be dishonest. It's the honest ones you have to watch out for because you never know when they're going to do something stupid. And I think that fits Jasper and Echo.
That's a great line.
Like to a T, because Jasper hides his sincerity pretty deeply. Like he puts out this wild sort of disarming front to either get people interested or get people distracted, depending on, what he's trying to do. But then if he really cares about you, of course he's going to do like anything to help you out. And then there's Echo, has a hard time being dishonest and tends to, jump on a dragon. So
he sure did.
Yeah.
No, he's a great character.
Very played masterfully by Joshua Tabletop. So I think that comes back to Izzy.
Yeah.
Oh, golly. Okay. So, we have now visited Vale's home and Echo's home. How hard was it for the characters to leave their homes after one, being away for so long, and then number two, also the fact that it doesn't feel like we really stayed for very long?
For Vale to leave was easy.
Well, the context of that was a little different, but...
Okay, so if I'm going to take before the mess happened at the end, I think Vale was able to connect with his mom, that one was never all that hard. I don't feel like he gets along with his dad very much. Or Carrick. I mean, he felt like he was making some good progress with Carrick, even if there would be an understanding of somewhat. But so in that way, it was hard. But I think he knows that that's not really his home anymore. Like, it's his family, but it's not his home. So leaving was not that difficult. More harder to be there, I think.
For Echo, I would say it was like kind of right over the plate. I think I would have expected him to have a harder time leaving. But I think he also feels some guilt, like he brought a lot of trouble to the city. And he feels pretty confident that once he leaves, the trouble will probably not be far behind leaving as well. Once they're feeling pretty confident that the people that they're looking for aren't there anymore, and everything else. Plus, he really wanted to see Master Dinoa in person, and I think that's a big motivation for him right now. But he got a lot of motivation from him, and I think that helped him. It should have been harder for him to leave, especially because it's the home that he found, not the home that was thrust upon him, if that makes any sense. So he feels, he loves that home. He loves the place, he loves the people, but he felt like he was putting it in danger. So for him to leave really wasn't as difficult as it should have been.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I think we are back to Jacob Tabletop. Am I correct?
Mr. Me. Yeah, I think so. I'm going off script. So to follow up, that question would be for you, Izzy and Melly. I feel like, and obviously anything can happen, but I think because of one of the things that she saw from the music box way back in episode 2, was the Plum Groves, and there was some kind of special event there. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. I have it written down somewhere, but do you think she'll be looking forward to going home? And because there was a while ago, the conversation that Val and Melly had at the cave entrance talked about how he was joking about how similar their families sound. Not at all. But I forget exactly how it was phrased, but there was something to the effect of like, yeah, we'll see. Like is she hesitant to want to go? Like, is that something she's looking forward to? Like what? And then are you looking forward to that as a player?
Oh man, as a player, I'm very excited. Melly has a very large, very happy family. So to get to see Josh play all of those characters,
He's gonna have so many.
it's gonna be a joy. That being said, I think it's going to be interesting for Melly because she is looking forward to being home. Like she's excited to like be someplace familiar and see like her family and her pets and the animals on the farm. I think it's gonna be interesting when she introduces her 3 closest friends, who are all guys, to her family.
These are 3 strange men that I just left town with.
Pretty much. I ditched my younger sister and went off with these 3 ruffians.
It's just great. Sometimes you have to suspend your disbelief for D&D. That's great.
Yeah. So I think she's more concerned with it being very overwhelming for all 3 of them. Because I don't think, like, I know Echo was in the monastery and there's a lot of people there, but it's a little different when your family is all together and they're all really close. So I have a feeling it's gonna be like they show up and it's like, oh, like you guys are now part of our family. So it's gonna get interesting.
Yeah. Without giving anything away, Echo may be more used to that than you think. So he may have more in common with Melly as far as her upbringing than she might be aware.
I like that.
Me too.
I know I've said it.
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask him to tell us more, but I know he won't, so it's okay.
He probably won't, yeah.
I don't think I can. I think it would be more, I mean, I don't even know. The thing is, it's rough having like secret lore information about your character. Joshua Tabletop is aware of pretty much all of it, I think. But I don't know if we'll ever have an opportunity to explore that. But depending on how it's approached, if that was something that would come up in game, like for one reason or another, I think Echo would probably be willing to discuss it. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Something to keep in mind. We got a lot of downtime right now. There may be a way to, weasel your way in.
3 weeks of non-threatening time. I feel like there would be so many conversations that we're not going to actually role play. So, but yeah. I was just going to say before, every time I picture, when you speak about Melly's family, I just have in my mind my big fat Greek wedding. It's just like all the aunts and uncles and cousins, and they're just like, come here, you can't be a part of the family. Like, that's just the way I don't know how it's gonna play out, but that's what I see.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Mac in that setting.
Yep.
He's the one I think I will look forward to his reaction the most.
I don't know. I feel like Mac tends to embrace hospitality, maybe a little too much.
It's
like it's almost too easy for him to, like, if someone wants to give him like things, he'd just be like, all right, like, great, kick back and enjoy himself.
Yes, but to me, like, I just want to see like little ones running around mech. I want to like. I feel like there's so many other types of elements involved in that I just want to see it. That's
it. Little children that are bigger than these two fully grown men. You know,
it could be
Mac and Echo.
Mm-hmm.
Boy.
Yep.
If that's the end of that question, I believe that brings it to me.
Yes, sir.
And I have a question for Izzy. More lore centric. What does Melly expect from her relationship with the Everlight, if anything? Like, how has that been sort of progressing? And sub question: does she think that Morgan is jealous?
Morgan Freeman.
So, thank you for the clarification.
Took me a second.
Melly doesn't expect anything at all. She's very, like, thrilled to have this new relationship and this deity in her life who has chosen to bless her. But she doesn't expect it to, like, be anything more than what it is right now. She's very willing to see if it goes any, like, I feel like I'm talking about like a relationship, like a romantic one, but yeah, she really isn't expecting much. And she doesn't think Morgan is jealous, because when they spoke about it, he was very, like, cool as a cucumber. Very much like, oh yeah, I know her. We've talked. She's a cool girl.
I really like that scene. I forgot about that. That was kind of precious, actually. Like, does that mean like she's replacing you or something? It's like, no. That was great.
It was very good.
So, yeah. That's. Oh wait, now it's my turn. Okay, I gotta look at my other question. Okay, this one is for Jake. About your siblings, about Vale's siblings again.
Okay.
If Vale had to choose one sibling to be a permanent member with the group, who would he choose and why?
Oh. I think he would choose his little sister just so he could keep an eye on her.
Oh, that's very straightforward.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it was like I haven't talked to Josh at all about like how, like, what kind of character she is. Was she a rogue? Is she, what does she do? Like, nothing like that. But I just, if you're like, what would Vale prefer? Vale would be like, well, I can keep an eye on her this way, so that's easy. Carrick is doing his thing. Yeah. Yeah, I think that one. I don't think I have to think too hard about that one.
Can I ask a follow-up sub question?
Sure.
Yeah.
If each of you could pick one NPC that we've encountered that could be a permanent member of our party, who would it be?
Rain.
I mean, I would love to see that.
For Melly reasons or for Echo reasons?
Well, so Melly wanted Rain to come with them forever. She was like, this is now one of my new best friends, and she should just come with us. And that was well before. Now she has even more reason to want Rain to be with them. So.
Yeah, I would prefer Rain, but Vale certainly would not. He would love to see Echo happy, but I think there's still an element of being uncomfortable that would just still exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good question. I want to say I think Vale might enjoy having Oscar around for his presence. but I don't know if. I'm sorry, not Oscar. I'm drawing a blank.
I knew exactly who you meant.
Bob Ross. Who?
Yeah.
Owen.
Owen, yes.
Yeah, there's another O. I was like, totally drew a blank there. Owen for his presence. But especially because he really had a total. He missed the energy drain that the weapon creation put on him. So I feel like that's something that he would wonder if it was okay for him to join or not. But what is this question Skelly's asking? Yeah, I don't know if that's as easy for him. I'll say Owen,
That's
but I'm not sure.
fine.
Yeah, wouldn't be fully on board with the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And Skelly says that if you had one of these NPCs join the party, which person in chat with free time on Sunday evenings would you give the character to? Well, you'd have to give it to you, Skelly, I think. Quite naturally.
Skelly and Nia could have shared custody.
Oh, I love that.
You get to alternate things, lines of dialogue and actions, and you just go back and forth.
It really seems like you're two people. I don't understand what's going on. That's good. All right, so that was Izzy, and then a follow-up. So we're back to me. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess this is kind of for both of you. So we're heading to Rexentrim. That's the capital of the Empire. What do you think it's going to be like when we get there? And is there anything or anyone that you would like to look up when we're in the capital? Let's start with you, Evan.
I imagine it's going to be exactly like, I believe it was Thebes in the Disney film Hercules. It was just the big city that they went to in the beginning. I think it was Thebes. That's what I just imagined it being like this impossibly busy capital, and everything is like way overdone, like over the top, like statues and
yeah.
I don't think Echo probably has any idea what it'll be like. Like, I don't know if he has any expectations. I'm sure he's heard stories about Rexentrim, but you know, there's just no way to know. Yeah, I mean, as far as who he would look up besides, you know, the temple, I don't really think he doesn't have a lot of acquaintances. So I don't think there's anyone that he would be even like, that wouldn't even be a thought. It's just like, I just need to figure out how to get to the Temple of Ioun and then, or sorry, to the library, to the Grand Library.
Yep.
And figure everything else out from there.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you, Iz?
Melly's definitely doing the same research that she does every time they go somewhere, which is try to find out more information for what's going on with Mac, with what little she has to go on, and then looking up stuff about Vale's deity, if she can. And then probably something for herself to have to do with the Everlight.
Sure.
But yeah, those are definitely the three things she'll be looking for.
So neither one of you had the thought we might see Freeman there.
I mean, it's certainly a possibility.
Okay.
And I think that the danger aspect of it is pretty real. So what I'm imagining, not Echo, but me,
Yeah.
is we may have a hard time getting into the city. You know, like maybe there's some kind of, you know, security surrounding the city. But that once we're inside, I feel like it just has to be impossible for them to be on top of everything unless it's completely like militarized, like just totally locked down where everything is security checkpoints and everything else. But I don't know. Echo is weirdly not so concerned with that. He's kind of like, I know where we need to go and we'll be able to figure it out because we're great.
Okay. Has the Freeman thought occurred to you, Izzy?
mean, to me as a player, yeah, Melly.
Yeah.
She doesn't know. I feel like she doesn't put all the pieces together. Like, she saw the symbol when they were... Where were they? She was with Carrick when they were going to the Queen. She saw it and she didn't put 2 and 2 together until, like, way later.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't speak for Michael. I think all 3 of us can understand that if the potential for finding him exists, that's something Mac will want to investigate. I don't think Vale will go out of his way, but if an opportunity presented itself to try and tie up a loose end, I think he would go for it. I think he would want to try and fix the situation.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Because, like, the whole reason that they're even looking for us is because of him. Freeman.
Pretty much, yeah.
If Mac kills him, he could pretend to be him.
So if we kill him without making it public, that's even better.
Mm-hmm.
So things get very interesting there.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's my question.
Okay, I'm actually tapped out on questions. All of the questions that I had, I've run through, and I threw
That's
some supplemental questions out there, but I have no more questions right now. If I think of anything as we go, I will.
Yeah, of course.
Chime in the next time around.
Have you thought of an answer to that question that I proposed to you earlier?
Yes, go for it.
What was that question, Izzy?
The question was, what is Echo's favorite joke?
Echo's favorite joke, which he heard from Jasper, was, why do paladins wear chainmail?
I don't know why.
Because it's holy.
I love that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a stupid joke, and it's his favorite joke.
I feel like that tracks. You see the booze in chat? Yeah, that tracks though. Oh, I love that. All right, so then does that come back to me?
Yeah.
Unless,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So in Vale and Melly's foraging chit chat, Vale's basically like, you know, you're not human, right? So how does Melly feeling about that? Like, is that like it's more like my favorite joke, not Vale's favorite joke. Although Vale likes his puns. Like, is that something that's new for her? I know we've talked a little bit about that, like off camera. But is that something that she's like, maybe, I don't know, never thought of before? Or maybe she's like, maybe that does make sense. Like, what's that like?
I definitely think she's gonna have to talk to her, like, parents about it a little bit.
Sure.
When that time comes. I can't remember what we had talked about off camera, but if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think it's something that she's really considered. She's always just been like, meh. Free spirit floating through life, pretty much.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because, I don't know. I mean, it's not like she doesn't think that people treat her very differently from, like, how she sees everyone else get treated. So.
I'm kind of curious if, like, because I think Aasimar lore could kind of go a few different ways, like maybe your whole family are Aasimar, or just sometimes when a human is born, they're just an Aasimar. So, like, that could kind of go either way. So I might just wonder about that. As me.
pretty sure that for Melly and her family, it's like Melly's mom is an Aasimar, and so is Melly, and I'm pretty sure Melly is the only other person in her family. Everyone else who like has abilities, they came about it like the normal way.
I'd like to hear that. Okay. There's like a whole family of adventurers and like superhumans. My gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So does that mean it's my turn now?
Yeah, if you have something, go for it.
Okay, hold on. I have to keep opening my phone. Okay. So, for Jake, if Vale, knowing everything that he knows right now, could go back and not make the pact that he did with the person that he did.
Okay, yeah.
Would he go back and change his mind? Would he seek out someone else to like try and establish that connection with someone he knew was aligned with his goals?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. I'm very kind of I think Vale would want to not make that choice, but I don't think he thinks we get out of the underneath Malaismere without it. And so I think unless you could convince him there was another solution to that, he would still choose it. Yeah.
No, I get it. That makes sense.
But for almost every other aspect, he would not. I think Vale is looking at that moment as a time he really gave into fear. Which, who hasn't done that once in their life? Maybe not on that scale. Maybe on that scale. I don't know. But yeah, that's because he would also be the kind of guy that thinks like, all right, but if I don't do that, then I never learn what I've learned since then too. Like he's definitely would get locked in that loop hard. Someone would have to like smack him on the side of the head, like, hey, get out of your head. Okay. He could be very pensive. So yeah. That was a good question. So I'll just, I can ask Evan a question. Are your thoughts and Echo's thoughts still the same that Spooky Johnson is Tharizdun? That's a good for you too, Izzy, but I just specifically on.
I think Echo still feels pretty strongly that it's Tharizdun, even though not everything lines up, or it would make the most sense for him to be Tharizdun. But yeah, I think so. But I think where Echo feels more comfortable now with the idea of like, let's just roll with it as long as we can, and if things start to go south with it, we'll do what we have to do.
We'll do what we must.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Izzy?
Yeah, from everything that Melly has learned, it makes sense. I don't know. I'm kind like personally, like I'm kind of hoping it's just like a trickster god who's like just being like, let's just do this and see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
Chances of that being what it is are probably slim.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping for, because I feel like worst case scenario is bad. Very bad.
Echo, fight.
Or like not even that, like all of a sudden Vale's just like gone. Like I gave you all these things in exchange for lifespan.
Yeah.
Well, look, we've discussed that we have a suspicion. One of the reasons that, Echo thinks it's Tharizdun is when he helped us out of the Underdark, or wherever it was that we assumed was the Underdark. All of a sudden, it was like 3 months later. So, what happened there? I think Echo still thinks of that as, the big bing, bing, bing. Like the big reason. It's like all of a sudden we're 3 months older, or 3 months of our lives have just gone and we're not really sure what it is. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. I kind of suspect this is one of those things where we think about it, we try and fit that theory into the information that we know. And then Josh is like, yeah, it's just what's behind door number 3 the whole time. Like, it's not, I feel like specifically on the who the patron is, like, I feel like it's not even someone in the book. It's not like,
yeah. We're gonna.
I feel like that's what Josh is gonna do to us.
Some man in a striped white shirt, just like, hello.
I know how to make my voice sound really creepy when I talk to Vale through the void.
I'm Derek.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or somehow it's Jasper.
Oh my gosh. Jasper is Vale's patron. Wow.
Couldn't help himself.
That'd be funny. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Man.
Izzy, do you have another question?
Those were all of the questions that I had come up with, but I can definitely think of more, but I'm gonna need a little bit of time.
Okay. Well, I could ask another one. I think I have... It's a question for you, so that might make thinking of a new question difficult. Let's see here. Okay. So in our foraging thing, when discussing rain and the tabaxi, there was a point where Vale was kind of staring off, and I think Melly said something to the effect that she thinks his light is more apparent or shines or something to that than he thinks it does. And she's usually kind of the most reserved person in the group, I think even more so than Echo. And so, like, what is it that she's seeing in Vale that prompted her to say that more specifically than seeing that and saying it? What was it that made her speak up?
So, I know it's not always apparent when Melly notices things, but she does catch on a little bit that a lot of times it seems like the blame falls on Vale for things. And
yeah,
she doesn't think he's ever done something for his own benefit. She sees like almost every choice that he has made has been to keep the people that he cares about safe. And that is like a genuine character. So doing something for the people that you care about, it just like shines out into the world, in her opinion. So that's like to her, that's like the greatest act of kindness is to care for those who care for you.
Say that again. I was reading Skelly's comment. And you said, I was like, oh no.
Take it back.
The greatest act of kindness that you could do is caring for those who care for you. So he's taking care of the people who love him. And she just feels like that reflects a lot of light out into the world.
Mm. Okay.
So what did Vale think when she said that?
I think Vale is trying to learn to give himself some grace right now with things. I think Vale isn't really sure what Echo thinks of him. Vale is pretty sure of what Mac thinks of him. Very sure. And I think he's feeling like, at least for now, that Melly, I don't want to say is like his only friend in the group, because that's not accurate at all. But he does feel like she's the only one that he can talk to. He feels like usually whoever he talks to is going to get hurt. But that seems to not necessarily be true for her. So he's just kind of like, he's very gun shy in that way, but he tries to keep things like very like mental, very like logical as best he can, but like stuff just comes out sometimes, and he's like, so that definitely hit a nerve for him, like in a good way, not like a bad way. But yeah, no, it was just good to hear. I think it's a good way to say that. Yeah.
I have a question for Evan. So right now, as we're walking through, I know Mac is kind of teaching teaching Echo, like all these like little moves and stuff. How does Echo feel about the progression of going from, you know, taking the spearhead off of his staff, and now he has like this very special weapon prepared, and he's learning how to use it from someone who's very skilled and someone who doesn't have as much of a reserve to hurt someone with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does Echo feel weird about that? Is he comfortable with it? I know you spoke a little bit about it before.
I think he feels correct in the decision to do it, like to have the option available to him again. Because he knows that there are times where, I mean, bludgeoning is not by any means strictly non-lethal, and we've seen that. Like, he hurts people. Like, when Echo is upset, he hurts people bad. But there is something different about, you know, stabbing a knife into somebody, and, you know, like everything that comes with that. But I think it's just that with the realization that they're dealing with these forces that are out to do so much harm, like their goal is to hurt people, he feels a lot less bad about hurting them back. And I think more so he knows that there are more efficient ways to deal with people like that, and that sometimes when those decisions need to be made quickly, having something that may get the job done a little bit more cleanly is a good thing to have. So, you know, him being able to have a dagger on his hip, you know, as opposed to needing to pull out a staff that's almost 10 feet long. I mean, he can use his, you know, he can use his fists and his feet and his knees and his elbows and like any part of him to do terrible damage to somebody, but it's a different thing, I think. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's probably going to feel a little weird with it as he starts to use it on people, if that's something that ends up happening reasonably soon. But I think he knows that it's the right decision and will do his best to stick to his guns.
I like that answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to know for sure until he starts doing it. That's really it.
That's a good point, though, because, I mean, Echo does know how to fight. That's not, it's not like it's just a different kind of visceral way of doing it, I think is, sounds like that's what you're describing.
Yeah, he knows how to fight, and mechanically, I don't have to do anything to have Echo be able to use a dagger. It's just like Echo could use a dagger or a short sword or, any of these weapons. I just thought from a character perspective, it would make sense for him to he knows how to fight, but I think it would be interesting to have, Mac, who is proficient with these, he uses daggers all the time. So Echo, who knows how to fight, learning specifically how to use daggers, I thought was kind of an interesting way to be able to kind of have some more Echo and Mac time, where they might learn a little bit more about each other, and to tighten their, to give more reasons for those times where they both run into battle and they just buddy system the whole way, they kind of run up together and set each other up for these moments. And I think that would be cool to have that as an explainable phenomenon. We saw this happen because they were working together while they were traveling, for this amount of time. It's just, I like those little things. It's like we have Echo and Vale have something that they were practicing on the side, but it's never come up.
Has it? No.
And I don't know if it ever will.
Happens. I don't know if it will either, but I hope it does.
Because the situation that would call for it is so niche. It would be so specific that I don't know how it could ever come up, but I hope it does. Because
we doing the thing? Yeah, we're doing the thing. Even if it's not the smartest thing to do in that moment, I just want to do it anyways.
I just would love for it to happen at one point.
Yep.
Also, I don't think I mentioned this, but the weapon, the dagger, Echo did give it a name, and it's Remembrance.
Okay.
So, yes, and there are some things written on the side of the hilt, which I believe we brought up, but that not everyone had seen it. I don't remember if it came up verbally, but I remember... No, it didn't. So it didn't come up verbally at all, but there are things written on the sides of the hilt. Which, you know what? I'll just say what it is. It's the podcast.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say. If you had this new thing for weeks.
It's not weeks. I only got it in session 55.
No, I know that, but we were at least 2 weeks into this journey.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so...
I don't think we're 2 weeks into the journey. I don't think we've been going for that long.
Josh is in chat, we'll see. But either way, Avail would be he's a fighter, be can I see your new dagger? It would be one of those things well, that's cool, it's well balanced, blah, blah, blah.
So there are two names. On one side of the hilt is the name Bovin, Bovin. The other side of the hilt has the name Bildthwain, Bildthwain.
Bovin and Bildthwain.
Yes, Bovin and Bildthwain. So, yeah. That's it. Just wanted to sprinkle that in there.
Yeah, okay. I want to know who Bovin and Bildthwain are.
Yeah, well, look. That's not for the podcast.
That's true. Well, do either of you have any other questions or things that you would like to say? Echo's pet rocks. Yeah.
Correct. How did you know? I do not have any more questions for today. I think I'm all tapped.
Same here.
Okay. Well, I know that life has gotten in the way in terms of us being able to play and make this wonderful content together. I think that's gonna settle down soon. It's like I don't want to say next week it's gonna work. I don't want to say it out loud, so I won't do that. But maybe we'll see you next week. We'll do the thing. I'm really good at not saying things I don't want to say. But yes, as Josh always likes to say when we end an episode, is to be kind to each other, treat each other well, and yeah, tell someone that you love them. And I'll start with the two of you. I love you both very much. You too, Skelly. Josh, meh, we'll see. In the meantime, take care, everybody.